Hi, I'm Sterling Hart, and this is Dreamlight, where we work on dream interpretation and using the insights in the waking life. What does it mean when you see a multicolored snake in your dream? First, deal with the snake, then we'll deal with the colors. Snakes generally refer to a strong emotional force and power and intensity, ones that bring action such as fear or jealousy, lust, rage, or strong frustration. Things that will strike at you with venom. You do have to look at personal association with snakes if you have strong ones, and there are many cultural ideas such as the Garden of Eden or the snake used to churn the ocean, but I would suggest looking at what's going on inwardly. What emotions are you experiencing? Or are you dealing with someone else who's experiencing strong emotions? Falsehood is another common theme, someone being a snake, betrayal or underhandedness, sneaking or doing something behind your back. And notice that if someone is actually doing this, it's going to cause a lot of anger. That's usually what most people do when they have somebody stab them in the back. They get angry. So again, it's a strong emotion. Suspicion is another strong emotion associated with snakes. You can also sense it in the waking world from somebody around you. Another possibility is that you are pretending in the sense of conning yourself as to your motivation, or perhaps you're doing something underhanded to others. What is happening in the situation? Is there an avoiding of feelings or dealing with something? Are you avoiding having to correct some mistake or to start something that really needs to be done? Is there some passion that has a hold of you? For instance, if you are suffering from chronic anxiety or abuse, you will not be able to access your reason. And so this is the kind of emotion that snakes often represent. So you're looking for a sense of emotional intensity. A strong sexual desire and attraction for someone is another one where the intensity can, override your mind, can make you make questionable decisions. So this is the type of thing that the snake represents. Strong desires, passions. Sometimes the snake represents poison. This is usually dealing with a toxic situation or again with toxic emotions. For instance, if someone in your life is angry at you or jealous and you have to deal with that situation, those strong emotions are the poison. For example, my friend dreamed that he saw a snake coming in under the door of his office. A secretary type person came in through the door, picked up the snake and threw it at him. It bit him and hung there attached. When the dream was worked with, it correlated with a situation at work. The person had taken up a new management job at a different department within his company. One of his employees was jealous and did something semi-illegal. It gummed up their project, and then the person blamed it on the incompetence of the new boss and used other employees by telling those people lies about what had happened. It turned out one of the other employees was in on it. At the time of the dream, this was going on, but the dreamer wasn't fully aware of who or the exact nature of what was happening, only that he was being blamed for the illegal dealings. The employee's action was discovered later. The employee lost his job along with his helper, but the atmosphere was poisoned and people were angry and defensive, a lot of mistrust. Some people didn't believe the official explanation. The dreamer left the job for a better one. This dream was very interesting to me because I once had a dream where someone threw a snake. Now, the situation of the dreamer was bad and abusive with people plotting against him, but in the aftermath, it is good to look at the types of conclusions that you draw from this kind of experience. The mistrust that was sown at work led to a lot of unhappiness and was not good for the workers or the business. Unhappy workers make mistakes, they take shortcuts, and don't put value into the product or the service. Bosses don't entrust employees and then treat them as untrustworthy, so there is this micromanagement, a lot of suspicion. They don't work in harmony. Friction happens at all levels. If you come away from this kind of experience in a way that leaves you suffering, you will have to work to change that limiting belief, that trauma. If you, on the other hand, you feel you have a lot of trust of the flow of life and see that you can pass through a bad situation and that the truth will eventually prevail, and even if you are forced to change, such as with a new job, you see that it leads to a better place. Then your life will be better. It gives you hope, patience, trust in the universe. We all carry around conditioning and conclusions about life. If we make these conclusions under the influence of anger and rage, we are likely to come up with ones that limit our possibilities. You can pass through the situation and gain some wisdom, either an understanding of yourself or an insight that leads to compassion towards other people. This is the idea that you can transmute the poison. The multicolors of the snake depend on the colors and your association. Color can be keyed sometimes to an emotion, darker colors with depressive or brighter colors with desires, etc. If it is multicolored, are there specific colors or a pattern such as shades of red or the rainbow or stripes? Or is this the idea of being multicolored? Usually the color represents the emotional force of the snake, for instance, blood red with passion. You can also have a white one representing coldness. A multicolored one could represent change and fluctuations, a gamut of emotions. There is also the idea of the horse of many colors. A snake of many colors might be the idea of being everything to everyone, of being attractive, or trying to please, desire-based, or too good to be true kind of energy, an attractive falsehood. The snake can be representative of a power. If you held a snake and frightened other people, for instance. So you could be using the anger or other emotions. And there could be ideas that form around it. The scenario of the anger as being a power, vengeance scenarios, or turning disrespect of someone towards you into fear of you. These emotions can be ones you direct towards yourself. If you did something to harm someone, feel regret or remorse, the snake may represent an emotion of self-harm. There are some common dream dictionary meanings of snakes and colors, but one has to be careful and sense whether they really resonate. For instance, the snake can have the idea of renewal as shedding of its skin. This could be the meaning, but it is a complex symbol relying on an idea and a sense of self, as opposed to the direct association with a certain emotion. I grew up in the country and found many shedded snake skins, some of them from very large snakes, and I have even seen a snake in the process of shedding its skin. So this image has some basis in memory and a context. I personally have encountered dreams in myself and others. I have worked with that and have had dreams of the changing self. But the people with the snake dreams I've encountered have always been related to emotions. Another common one is that it represents the Kundalini energy, but it is also unlikely unless you've been doing specific practices, but anything is possible. My friend had a pet snake and has dreamed of it, without any of the above meanings. For him, the dream was related to keeping track of things. He did associate it with guilt for losing the snake, worrying that the snake would get lost in the walls of the house. Are snake dreams always negative? Not necessarily. Befriending a fear or being able to transmute a strong emotion, for instance, if you're dealing with a strong desire but you aren't acting on it. So snakes will slither in to many people's dreams, and they almost always make an impact. A very popular symbol. If you got something out of this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you want more dreams, then subscribe or support the channel through Patreon. See the link below. Till next time.